Hello and a very good morning. Fantastic. Thank you so much for joining me. It's Andrew Eborn here, right in the heart of London. You're joining me on my morning walk through Regent's Park. It's been a phenomenal day already. Last night we went along to the photography A Day in Your Life with the wonderful Alison Jackson. They had the award ceremony at Cadogan Hall. All the great and the good were there giving out the prizes. Over 100 people received recognition. What I loved about it was the community, where they're sort of turning around and basically getting people together at these different youth clubs with a passion for photography. And we had all sorts of people there, from famous footballers to rock stars to people in the fashion industry. And great to see Alison Jackson, as always, and she's been supporting this particular project, not just supporting it, but actually the main driving force in this particular project, encouraging youngsters to get out and do exciting things, and camera in hand. The only shooting they do is with a camera. That's gotta be good, hasn't it? Let me know what you're up to over the next few days. We've got a fantastic chat, as always, with Elon Musk. He joined me yesterday. We unpacked the extraordinary stories, as we do all the time in the press, and the suggestions about what's going on. And what I love about it is we can get to the truth. And Lil Darker as well. Hello, we're live, we live, she says. It's all good stuff. What's great about these little walks in the morning is that, in addition to doing the traditional shows, we have an opportunity to chat. So where are you, Daisy? Daisy Underhill? It's nice to say hi. Let me know where you are in the world. And Lil Darker, great to have you on board as well. And as I say, we have Elon Musk's dad on the show, as you know, all the time. I have the pleasure of speaking to him. And what I do is chat about the stories in the news every single day. There are Lil Darker, Liverpool. Well done. Good to see. Well, that's one of the things we spoke about with Errol, was Liverpool. There was a big discussion about whether Elon Musk was going to buy Liverpool Football Club. And what was interesting is that it was a complete fictitious story. Elon was basically, his grandmother on his father's side comes from Liverpool. They knew the Beatles and everything, but this was spun into an enormous story that Elon was going to buy Liverpool Football Club. There was no such thing, so go and check that out. There's a wonderful interview with Elon Musk, Elon's dad. I chatted to him about that. If you haven't yet done it, you can subscribe. Click subscribe. Go on, Liz. Go on, Daisy. You can subscribe to Octopus TV. It is completely free. It'd be lovely to have you on board. We do all sorts of wonderful interviews with people around the world. We've had Charles Spencer on, Lady Diana, Princess Diana's brother. He's a great author. And we've spoken about some of his works, like The White Ship. Christa Berg, I had Christa Berg for 2.5 hours. We spoke and listened to some of his music. Lil Darker, love your work. Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you. It's all good stuff. We love it. So wonderful. You're up in Liverpool, which is great. Love Liverpool. Some of the best people in the world. Greatest sense of humour. And in these difficult times, that's what you need, isn't it? A fantastic sense of humour, because you either laugh or you cry, don't you? I think that's the reality about these sort of things. If you're just joining us, we're here in Regent's Park. Come for my daily walk, in addition to doing the traditional shows. And we've done a lot of those. We was on Times Radio, do the early morning breakfast show with the wonderful Rosie Wright. And we have a look at all the news, what's going on in the world, trying to do a bit of light and shade, because there's such dark stuff at the moment. But there's some good, great things happening at the moment as well, particularly about AI. They always say back to the futurist. That's what I look at, the way that we're making seismic changes in health, in the industries, making things more efficient, and so on and so forth. Got to get your steps in. Well, that's certainly true. You can hear me huffing and puffing as I get my steps in. But it's a great place to get your steps in. I normally get up ridiculously early and then go trotting around. We were out last night at Cadogan Hall, where a star-studded event, another award ceremony the wonderful Alison Jackson. And that was great to see. Last week, in addition to Times Radio, Sullivan on Talk TV, and we did What Just Happened, a great show. I've known Kevin for many years, and it's always a pleasure to be on his show. We were looking at all sorts of the latest news, obviously about Meghan and Harry, what's going on there, the horrible case about the Southport murders and the sentencing of that, and we unpacked that as well, talked about how that works in practice. What about sentencing guidelines? And interestingly, I had a great lunch with somebody I've known for many years, who worked for Forces TV. Before that, he was at Sky, one of the head honchos there, and he was telling me he was actually instrumental in getting the cameras in court so we could see the sentencing remarks and basically try to understand a little bit better about how people get these sentences. And it's supposed to be a science as opposed to an art. In other words, every judge with the same sort of circumstances should reach the same decision. And that's what they try to do. So unpacking the case on that sort of basis is always powerful. So that's what happened. The first case is in court. We had a look at that sort of side, and talking, it was the horrendous facts which happened in the Southport murder as they were coming out taken. And they always sort of say, well, lessons will be learned. But isn't that part of the lessons should have been learned? But let's make sure that things actually happen. This is about action. It's not just about saying lessons should be learned. To work on that sort of basis. But yeah, horrendous circumstances to have a look at that sort of side. What's also interesting though is it's unifying, isn't it? I think the more we can work on the basis we get people involved in looking at things and saying, look, we're not going to let this rest until things have been sorted. I mean, that's the key on that sort of basis. It's blocked off here. I have to go a different way. Never mind. Okay, are we shut? You come this way? There you go. Right, we can go through here. Just about. We'll wander up here instead. They keep driving over there. Well done. Good stuff. Mate. So yeah, it's a unifying thing. I think I always say that we are the media now, and what I love is that everybody has a chance of participating in the discussions. Everybody has a chance of shaping the narrative and holding people's feet to the fire. We need to account and make sure that the politicians, the police force, other people are always held to account, because it's so important that we don't just let people get away with things. And that's what I love about the social media side, is that more and more people are getting actively and shaping our world. And that's the brilliant thing about it. And what I love also is it's such instantly accessible that when we were growing up, you might just have a couple of newspapers, only a few TV channels, and you used to get your news sources normally from the same sort of place. So it was an echo chamber. And whatever used to happen, people would turn around and say, okay, we'll have a look at that, we'll take that as gospel. The reality is, what we've now learned, again, I point out that they used to say if you don't read the newspaper, well, you're ill-informed, and if you do read it, you're misinformed. The important thing is to question everything, and that's what we're doing on that sort of basis. More and more people are starting to question what's going on in the world, and making sure you don't just roll over and play dead. You basically make sure that you say, hang on, this doesn't sound right. And that's brilliant about this sort of stuff. So it's everybody's favourite four-letter word. It's free. So do have a look at that sort of side. Click on the subscribe button now. And all sorts of goodies are coming your way. This week, lots of fun things happening. I'm off to the cinema a little bit later. We try to go virtually every day. Try to see everything, however good or bad. And then I can walk back and so it is. Let me know what films you would recommend. Always fascinating. It's obviously Oscar season as well, and a number of things have been recommended with the Oscars. Obviously, it's good to see the different ones. What's interesting as well, I was discussing this, is cinema itself, and how many people go to the cinema. It's so expensive now in central London. You could be spending about 20 quid And obviously if you're taking a family, it's an absolute fortune. You've got to look at these things in order to make things accessible, in order to make sure that people do have a chance to come to the cinema and other things. Make it accessible, make it reasonable for people. I have these unlimited memberships, so you sort of pay a monthly fee and you have as much as you could possibly eat, and that works well. It doesn't mean I go and see everything, which is brilliant. But that's the other thing. We're looking now at sort of traveling around the world, and it's cheaper to fly abroad than it is to hop on a train. If I want to go out to see Liverpool, a little darker in Liverpool, it would cost an absolute fortune. It's cheaper for me to fly to the south of France, to Nice, than it would to go up to... And it's great. It's like a big family. See different people each time, but it's nobody complains. It's from Liverpool to Wembley and Rotterdam. There we go. We have a bit of Rotterdam. There's a song there somewhere. The beautiful south, and they mentioned virtually every place that ever there was, including Rotterdam and Amsterdam and what have you. But yeah, it is interesting, isn't it? Now, from we're always we're always dependent on those airwaves that say connection, but the good old days dependent on those airwaves that say connection, but the good old days, you might remember the dial-up internet. So that used to be really connection, and connectivity is wildly important. But listen, whatever you're doing today, have a fantastic day. Delighted you could join me. Thank you very much to Little Darker. Thank you to Daisy. Thank you for all of your wonderful comments. Don't forget, you can subscribe to the Andrew Eborn Show on Octopus TV. Do that now and encourage lots of people. We've got lots of exciting things coming up. Great interviews with some of the world's leading characters, both in entertainment and industry, titans of television. They're all going to be on the Andrew Eborn Show. So do subscribe now. Encourage those people too. We've got all sorts of brilliant people, brilliant guests, as I say. Go and check out the old ones. They're all available. It's all free. Amazing stuff. And if you can, do follow me at Andrew Eborn, at Octopus TV. But whatever you're doing today, thank you so much for joining me. We've got the signs of spring are coming up now. Here we are. Spring has sprung. We've got little signs of hope, and it's only January. Look at that. The flowers are already coming out. Something like climate change. That's what you don't need. You don't need an ozone. Obviously, life is a little bit better with that. A little darker. Thank you so much for all your lovely comments. Enjoy Liverpool. It's great to hear from you. Do join me next time right here. But for me and